Hello everyone, I just wanted to do this quick video to answer some of your questions, or maybe this is a question that most of you might be wanting to have answers for. I'm not an immigration specialist, nor have worked with international students, but through my research, what I have found is in order to come and study abroad, specifically in the United States, your first step would be to apply what it's called F1 visa, and that's the student visa. So you would have to file Form I-20, and you can get that form through the local embassy office. So it's Form I-20. So after you get your visa, then you can start applying schools in the States. I personally, from my experience when I was at the community colleges, I have come to encounter with a lot of students from Saudi Arabia. It was a while ago, but at the time I think that route for people from Saudi Arabia was open, and many of my classmates were from Saudi Arabia. I heard getting visa is extremely difficult, but I feel like it's the same with any kind of other visas, especially if you're trying to come to US. It's not easy. I remember when my grandfather was still alive, my uncle tried multiple times just to come and visit his dad, but he was always rejected. But there is always hope. If you're interested, you could always apply. And what I also have found, many of those students, and again, I'm not generalizing, I'm simply sharing my experience. So many of those students, they oftentimes would come as just to spend their time and not actually study. And I remember one time we struck a conversation, and I asked one of those guys who was sitting next to me, I said, why are you always trying to get answers by not studying? I didn't say you were cheating, but I said, why aren't you being serious about your studies? And he says, do you think I really need this? The only reason why I'm here is to get this diploma, so when I return back to Saudi Arabia, I could say that I got an education abroad. So he said that he came from very, very wealthy family, and he was telling me what cars he's driving. I have no idea anything about car brands, but most of them from Saudi Arabia come here just to get that diploma as a sign to show that they have a higher education from someplace else, which sometimes I find it very unfortunate, because back in 2000, I believe 7, when I went back after almost 3 decades being in US, I was able to go visit my family back there. And I remember when I was in my uncle's house, his neighbor came and he says, I have a daughter who's trying to enter through a university system. They came from a very tiny village, maybe population of 200 people the most, and he says she studied very hard with a trainer, and she wants to enter into linguistic, specifically study English language, and could you please assess her, see if she's ready? I had my doubts. I thought, how much English would she really know, coming from such a tiny place. So this lady comes, she's I think 16 or 17 years old. The TOEFL, that's the exam that you have to take in order to pass. She just went through the questions so smoothly. I was very impressed. But the problem, they were extremely poor. So if you were to choose somebody from that category, yes, she was very knowledgeable. She did really great. But because she didn't have the financial aspect, so those students are not accepted into this international program, study abroad, because I've checked. I remember outstate tuition was 3 times more what the residents would pay, and for international students it was even more. So you have to have your financial assets in place before you can come and study abroad. I'm not sure what every colleges or universities require, so you probably would want to go onto their website and check what the requirements are, but you have to have good amount of money in order to come and secure your dorm or apartment, wherever you choose to live, pay for your full tuition, for food and other expenses. So somebody from poverty, yes, they might have the brains, they might be very well skilled, but because they don't have the financial, they're not able to utilize this program. Also, there are scholarships, and I remember even for the locals, when I was applying, one of the resource specialists, she took me in, and the scholarships were so enormous. I feel like we live in a country where people are extremely generous. I remember going through every single pages. There were 50, 60 pages of scholarship places where I could have applied, which I have applied. So scholarship is another option that you can apply. Back home, so what happened with this young lady when she left, the mother came right after. She says, what do you think? Is she's gonna make it? Because the system back home is, so if you're very smart, you get to study for free. But if your score is not as high, then you go into the paid tuition. So parents are responsible for the payments. And I told her, I said, she's gonna go through it and she's gonna get it for free. She scored really high. A few days after she took her exam, I remember parents came and they were so happy because she did make that. It was a free charge, and parents were farmers, so it was very difficult for them to make any payments. But yeah, the daughter made it. She wanted to study English and she did really well. So that's another aspect for international students. So whoever was interested in coming to study abroad here, make sure you meet that financial requirement. And for the schooling, I'm not sure what state you're trying to get into. I personally had a friend, she went through Northeastern University and she got full scholarship that covered 4 years of her college degree. So you could also look into scholarships if you're not financially there. But again, first step, apply for F1 visa, and then you're gonna try to look for colleges of your choice, place. And then once you get your student visa, then you can come and start a new life, new career here in the States. Well, I wish you all the best. Just keep applying, following those steps, and hopefully you can meet your goals met. Thank you. Bye.